Cars tune. Mater the Greater. Lightning McQueen and his friends were enjoying a few oil cans at Flo's V8 Cafe when... Whoa! Mater sped backward over a ramp. He zoomed through the air and crashed into a pile of cans. "Mater, are you all right?" Lightning asked. "Well, of course I'm all right," the tow truck replied. "I used to be a daredevil." Lightning wasn't sure whether to believe him or not. Folks would come from all around to see my stunts. Mater began to tell the story of his days as a daredevil. He described the Stars and Stripes paint job he had as Mater the Greater. One of his events was at a packed sports arena. There were spotlights, photographers, and reporters. "Ladies and gentlecars," the announcer called, "Mater the Greater." In the stands, fans waved signs and cheered. "Get your Mater teeth right here," a salesman shouted as he walked the aisles. 2 buck teeth for $1. Many of the fans were already wearing their souvenirs. A spotlight followed Mater the Greater as he rolled down a launching ramp. The cheering crowd quieted. It was nearly time for Mater's big stunt. He would try to jump over an incredibly long line of cars. Mater the Greater began to back up. He would need lots of room to speed up enough to make it over all the cars. He rolled to the very edge of the arena. Finally, with his back tires against the barrier, Mater was set to go. "And he's off," the announcer called out. Mater's wheels burned rubber as he drove toward the ramp. He sped faster and faster, knocking over orange safety cones and blowing off photographers' hats as he rocketed past. Cameras flashed around the stadium. This was it. Every car in the place held their breath as they watched and wondered, would Mater make it? Mater the Greater raced up the ramp, launched off the end, and then... thud! Mater the Greater landed on the first 2 cars past the ramp. "Ow!" one car cried. "Ooh, ow!" Each car in the lineup groaned as Mater the Greater tiptoed all the way down the row. "Excuse me," he said. "Pardon me, coming through." At last, Mater the Greater rolled over the last car. He scooted down the ramp on the other side. "He did it!" the announcer cried. The crowd went wild. Mater the Greater had made his way over all the cars. It didn't matter to them how he had done it. "I did all kinds of stunts," Mater told Lightning as he continued his story. He described being shot from a cannon through a ring of flames. The stunt ended in a huge explosion. Mater the Greater caught fire and had to be put out with a fire extinguisher. But the audience loved it anyway. Another time, Mater the Greater was riding on the wing of an airplane. Everything was going fine until the stunt plane did a few rolls, turning upside down. Mater the Greater slipped off the plane and began to fall. He quickly released his tow hook and caught it on the plane's wheel. He finished the ride dangling from the plane by his tow line. In another daredevil stunt, Mater the Greater dove from a super high platform into a tiny pool of water. Amazingly, he landed right on target, although he split the pool wide open. And that's not all that broke. "I done busted nearly every part of my body," Mater remembered. The biggest stunt Mater the Greater ever did was jumping Carburetor Canyon, Mater told Lightning. Mater described how even with a giant ramp and a rocket strapped to his hood, the jump seemed impossible. Lightning was starting to doubt the story. "Jumping Carburetor Canyon?" he asked. "No way." "Yes way," Mater replied. "You remember, you was there too." He continued his story, except now Lightning was with him. Lightning had a fancy new paint job, and 3 huge rockets were strapped to his roof. He even had on Mater the Greater's souvenir teeth. "Ready, buddy?" Mater the Greater asked, but Lightning didn't really have a chance to answer. One of the pitties lit his rockets and pushed him down the ramp. "And there he goes!" an announcer's voice echoed through the canyon. Lightning shot down the ramp and launched into the air. Lightning was about halfway across the canyon when his rocket sputtered and went out. By this time, everyone at Flo's V8 Cafe was listening. They were all waiting to hear the end of Mater's story. "Well, what happened?" Lightning asked. "You didn't make it," Mater replied. "Well, see you later."